Hello, I would like to introduce to you the component-driven isolated development environment with Storybook. And what I want to show you is how easy you can demonstrate different states of the system and actually help documenting all the components, what can they do, in which circumstances they have different behaviors. Yeah. So first of all, let's highlight that the entire feature can be used in Storybook. Of course, this component page is used in the production application, but we can isolate it like entire feature and entire subcomponents in this environment, right? So first of all, as you see, we have a lot of states just for one feature. This is regular user management page. Um, First, start with the different flows thing. The flow is just you can do anything in your application as in the real application on the mock dependent on the mock services, right? That work in the memory. So first of all, let's see different permission level. As you see, now this super admin thing can use all of options, while the regular user cannot, for example, edit super admins. Yes, so first thing, how to see how different permissions work, just one click. Okay, so let's invite someone. We have some mocked roles as well, teams, roles, whatever. So let's add someone. As you see, there were some delays in the responses. Now we can go and edit all of this with mocked response times, so you can see some skeletons, of course, but they are quite showing quite short. Maybe we want to see the loading state a bit longer. That will come with other stories. Yes, let's delete someone. Maybe let's go to another page. This is all possible thanks to the isolated environment for the entire feature. Now, let's see other stories showing us specific state of the system with one click. So let's see, this is what the default admin page looks like. And let's see the invite, right? And what happens, for example, when you try to do something, this still works? No, why? Because in the isolated environment, we can actually have more control on what will happen with specific components. So, for example, this one actually doesn't do any operations. It just logs things what happen when you do something, when you want to edit the user or when you want to delete the user. When you click it, we don't perform the mutation. The system doesn't show you any state because it just logs the action of the user, right? That's the way to show parts of the system with different various cases. Yeah. So now let's see the Teams overflow thing. What does it mean? So it means that we open the invite user page, but we want to see user teams, and now this one contains a lot of teams, and we can see how the model behaves in this situation and how to add this one specific case to the storybook. It can be as simple as few lines of code. For example, we can just provide to Storybook a bit different team list query with some mock producer of 30 teams. That's as simple as that. So we don't need really to mess with the system. We can just add few lines of code, and then we can browse our capabilities and features, how this is looking like with all cases with few lines of code with few clicks, right? Now, let's see how our model looks like when we have pending invitation. So we click the invitation and this lasts forever. We just want to see if the spinner works correctly. Just one click. Okay, let's see. I want to see how this button looks like when all the things has happened successfully, for example, right? So you can see that this one is a check mark icon, yes? And let's see how the UI looks like when we cannot send the invitation because of some reason. So then in that case, just let's make the form valid. In that case, you will see that there is some error indication here in the button. Now let's see how the invitation looks like. Sorry, the editing looks like. So invite and edit, it's quite similar. They have different labels, but this is all present to you. You can see all of this. And now look, this is the case when the user teams are still loading and we want to show how the loader looks like. We can work on this UI without any clicking, just reload, just update the code. This will automatically refresh, and that's it, right? Maybe I want to make this a bigger thing, right? Let's try this. I made the change, and this just shows me the loading state without I need to go anywhere and try again. Just this. Now let's see when the user is loading. Okay, we can work on this skeleton. We don't need to do any hacks with the browser to see this, yeah? So maybe I want to see my skeleton and I want to fix something. Maybe that should be longer. You see, it's bigger. I can do all of this with one story. Yeah. Now I want to see how roles look like when they are, as you see, they are delayed. Because maybe roles cannot be available all the time, only with some delay. Yeah. Maybe I want to work on this when the roles are loading all the time, so I can actually do something with this. Let's go to the code. Let's go to our role picker and maybe add more items here. Maybe add more items here. And this is how this looks like. No, I didn't even need to touch and click anything just to go to the same state, because the same state is available to me via Storybook, yeah? And when the teams are not able to load, we can just show it in the user state, yes? And how to add this thing? In Storybook, it can be just error entry saying maybe this query just should return an error. As simple as that. Yeah, we have a lot of things. Maybe process of deletion, how archive look like when it's error. This is when we cannot delete for some reason, yes? So all of the system has states exposed in the stories, and we can work in per component in isolation. For example, we can open a specific component without modals, all of this. And let's work on how the content looks like when I have specific data attached to it, right? I can, as you see, I have some ability to simulate the screen size and what happens if I have a sticky layout, right? All of this is available to you with few clicks. Mobile version, tablet versions with the sidebar. So what happens with the sidebar, right? All of this it's not a true sidebar, it's just whatever sidebar. Because when we develop this component, we don't really want to care about the sidebar. It can be there or not. We just want to see how our component changes the layout when the sidebar is present or not, right? Maybe you want to work on the skeleton for the user's page. Let's just expose it as a story. Or maybe there's some error with loading the data. What if we have many pages? This is all UI state that is just a component, not a part of the bigger system. So even if you click something, you will just see that there's an action that says, oh, this one is about to change the page, but we don't have page generated data in the system because we just display a simple component. And clicking invite user just triggers the action. So we are really limited to the view. This thing doesn't even know what is the model, invitation model. It's scoped, it's isolated. When I click delete, it doesn't show me the model because this is not my business. User stable doesn't show the model. This is just simple component to test, and so it's scoped, right? And for example, this page doesn't allow us to edit admins. We can show you how this looks like, yeah? So of course, we have a shared component library, which is pretty much obvious that we want to show different states, different API capabilities of the reusable components. But the less obvious thing is that you can embed your product with all the business logic states here in the Storybook, so you can navigate between this. And trust me, when you just add it to the system, you will just integrate with your endpoints, and it all pays off, right? Yeah. So that's the demo, and that's the demo. Same with user roles. You can have also this on other pages. All of this is easily manageable in the code in Storybook, and you can really boost your development with more verbal communication to stakeholders when you demo something. Yeah, I hope I convinced you to start thinking about isolated component environment. Cheers.